Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 68. Howard Mcnear Remembered, Part 1. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by WeaversDepartmentStore.com. Drop by Weavers and pick up something from Mayberry. Two Chairs is also brought to you with donations from listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Hey everybody, and how you doing? It's good to have you back with us. Hey, this is just for the video feed. So just wanted to say hi. I'm in the process of getting this video, well, not the video, get the audio all edited down. Ooh, should have done some of this before I turned on the record now button. Hey, but it's good to have you all of you guys with us. And I'm in the process here of fading out the band music. So at the end, so let's get started with this thing here. And here we go. Ready? Here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Two Chairs No Waiting, your Mayberry podcast. I'm your host, Alan Newsom. It's great to have you with us. Hey, we've got folks listening on the audio podcast. I actually have a lot of people taking time to actually watch me sit here and talk to you, which I'm doing right now live on the internet, but you'll be able to watch it later as well. You can go to mayberry.com/podcast/live. I'll put a link in the show notes for that because I don't have a link on the webpage yet for it. But you can go there and you can watch these videos we've done. I guess this will be our fourth video of the podcast. I think it's called a live stream. So if you guys follow me on Twitter, links on the webpage. You can click and follow me on Twitter if you have it. I may start posting on Twitter to let people know when I'm going to be recording live, so you can watch me. But, you know, hey, main thing you're watching is me sitting here talking to you, so if you may just want to listen on the podcast. But thanks for listening in the video, which I was very surprised of. But anyway, let me get into this one. This episode, I can't tell you how excited I am. I have been listening to, and I've mentioned this before on the podcast, old-time radio shows. And Robbie Curley has been involved in that and helped keeping me full of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, a radio show that Howard Mcnear, Floyd the barber, was on. But another one that he's famous for was Gunsmoke. So I've run across a show that's a Gunsmoke show that was done by WAMU-FM in Washington, D.C., in 1976. It was a series they did, about a 5-hour long show called The Story of Gunsmoke. Well, you may not realize it, but there are several Mayberry connections in the old radio show of Gunsmoke. So, of course, that old radio show, you may remember William Conrad was Matt Dillon. It wasn't James Arnez that was on TV. It was William Conrad. Well, Chester on Gunsmoke was Parley Baer, Mayberry's Mayor Stoner. And Howard Mcnear played Doc Adams. He was Doc on Gunsmoke. So Floyd was Doc on Gunsmoke. And now some other things that you may not realize, and later on you'll hear these guys, so keep it in mind because I won't tell you. I want you to see if you can catch them. But Sam Edwards from Mayberry, he was Mr. Scobie. Remember Scobie? The family got arrested. He was them, and am I getting the right name? Because it was two different names, the same family, but he was Mr. Scobie, and also John Denner, Colonel Harvey. He was a character actor. Both of those guys were, so they appeared multiple times on Gunsmoke. So if you're ever listening to one of those old radio shows, keep an ear out for them. But all that said was just to set you up for this. In that story of Gunsmoke, I found something that I had never heard, and I am so excited to be able to share it with you. We'll be doing this over the next 2 or 3 weeks, maybe I think at least 3 weeks, so that you guys can hear what I have found. It is, and you may have heard it, but hopefully you haven't, and this is going to be something just as new to you as it is to me, because this is a exciting thing for any Mayberry fan. what we have in this story of Gunsmoke that was recorded back in 1976 is, first, we're going to hear William Conrad talking about Howard Mcnear. And then we have got, it's just golden. It is so gold. We have Parley Baer will be visiting with us next week talking about Howard Mcnear. So, folks, this is going to be incredible. We'll have Parley Baer tonight, too, actually, I think. We'll see. But first off, we're going to go and we're going to hear from William Conrad giving us just a little bit of information about Howard Mcnear. So, here he comes. All right, folks, so here on the, let me get this queued up. I can't tell you how excited I am to have found this stuff. It was, oh, wow. It was just amazing. And he's going to talk about Parley Baer here, too, so I should have said that. But, hey, I didn't, and I guess you guys will figure it out when he actually says something about Parley. Let me get this lid over here where I want it to be, and then I'll play it for you, and you can listen to it on the video. So here we go. Let me get this started. So here is William Conrad.
Doc Adams was brilliantly played by veteran character actor Howard Mcnear.
Howard Mcnear probably is the most fascinating human being I've ever known in my life. He was a consummate actor. He was a consummate human being. And all of this wrapped up in a pixie-like body, a wonderful comic mind that would make a laugh out of anything in the world. For, I guess, 10 solid years, he was the life of our cast. He and Parley combined were unbelievable in their making lightness and happiness and joy out of a common everyday experience. Howard and Parley are two people that everybody should know in their lives.
So that was William Conrad, and let me get back into the audio podcast. This is for you video guys. So, but that was him, and I'm going to come back in and talk about this just a bit. So let me get this marked, and I'm ready. Okay, so that was William Conrad. He was talking about both Parley Baer. I didn't say that before, but obviously you picked up on it since that's what he was saying. And he was also talking about Howard Mcnear, a person everyone should get to know. And that is what I have heard from every cast member that I've ever had the privilege to speak to about Howard Mcnear. So now I want to play for you about 4 minutes. This is it's going to be, I think, with Parley Baer talking about Howard Mcnear. So this, folks, is part 1. I've got 2 more parts after that. So let me get this queued up. This is about 4 minutes long. Ooh. No, yeah, 4 minutes. Whew, good. I was thinking it was 6 after I started looking. All right, so let me cue this up, and we'll get you guys going where you can hear this. So if you're ready, here is Parley Baer talking about Floyd the barber.
Bill named Doc, too. He was just Doc in there, and Howard Mcnear, who was so delightful in that role, but he played him with just a trickle of blood dripping from his fangs, and you got the feeling that Mephistopheles was looking over your shoulder a little bit as Howard played Doc, and Bill Conrad christened him Dr. Charles Adams, just, for the cartoonist. Well, when you talk about Howard, all of the adjectives like wonderful, unique, magnificent come to fore. Howard, I think, was one of the most truly delightful people I've ever known, ever met, and I had never heard anyone who didn't like him. everybody loved him. And he was an absolute asset to anything and everything he did. Later on, he became Floyd the barber on the Andy Griffith Show. And he fell upon evil times. He had a series of strokes. He recovered from some, and then he would have some more. And it's to Andy Griffith's eternal credit that for a couple of years, when Howard was no longer ambulatory, he stayed on the show, and they would revolve scenes around him. He would be seated in his own barber chair, or in a place out in front of his shop, but they always fixed it, accommodated the scene to Howard, and I think it's a great tribute to his ability as a performer and an actor, that many people didn't know that he was suffering from any handicap at all, because he was sharp. He still had the same wonderful sense of humor, a real pixie sense of humor. And I can truthfully say that some of the happiest hours of my life were spent in his company. He lived between my house and the studio, and I used to pick him up and bring him back. And those minutes that we had week after week discussing the day's happenings or whatnot were marvelous. He was a man of strange attitudes at times, and in strange inconsistencies, and that's what added to his charm. Howard was a thoroughly conscientious man, prepared at all times with his work. I've never known him to give a bad performance. And I worked on many shows with him aside from Gunsmoke. We were on there together, but he did a lot of lineups and escapes and whatnot. But he lived in absolute terror. And this I can't understand, because he was a graduate of the old stock company circuit, where you had to learn a new part a week while you were playing one, you know. But he was terrified that dialogue would be changed on him. And he had it specified. But once he was given a part, that was it, and they wouldn't change lines on him on the set. And he didn't even like to write in changes on radio scripts. And that he abhorred change of any kind, and he sort of he developed an aura about himself as being very nervous and this, that, and the other thing. And he was a little on the hypochondriac side. He carried a variety of pills, which he was willing to share. I don't know how many people he started off on or gave them some malady that they didn't have through sharing his pills. I know he had a box of pills one day. I had a bad headache, and I asked for aspirin. He said, "You don't want to put that stuff in your stomach." He said, "That's not good." He said, "Here, take one of mine." And he said, "Don't have sizes and hues and colors of pills." And I tell you, not only our business, but the world suffered a great loss when he was taken. And I don't know of anyone who is remembered more fondly by our profession than Howard.
Hey, there you go, folks. Now, again, this is just from the video. Wow, you cannot tell you how good I was when I found that. So let me go into the audio podcast and let those folks know what I'm saying. Sorry, you're gonna have to hear it again. Oh, so there you've got it, folks. Can you believe that? I ran across that, and I have been so excited ever since I found it. It's a great commentary there with Parley Baer, Mayor Stoner, talking about Floyd the Barber, Howard Mcnear. Folks, that's as close as we'll ever get to being able to interview or speak with Parley about Howard Mcnear, because he's passed away as well. And wow, I'm so excited about this. I have 2 more segments that I'll be playing for you guys over the next couple of weeks that are Parley discussing some funny things that had happened with Howard Mcnear. I won't tell you about it because it's a teaser. I rarely get to do teasers because I don't know what I'm going to do the next week usually. So anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying this. I hope you find this interesting. I love it. So I hope you like it. And hey, tell folks about it. Get people to come in here and be a part of this, because this is I think this is something Mayberry fans ought to really enjoy. So hey, I want to thank you guys again for listening. I want to thank you. I kind of was pleading last week to get some support, some help, because these podcasts are starting to really grow in size. Well, not individually, but we're up to 68 episodes with this episode. So I'm talking somewhere around half of, it's 500 megabytes. 500 megabytes of audio. It's just audio. So I'm going to have to buy some hosting for that. And I've gotten some folks who have donated, and I want to thank you guys very much for that. I wrote an email to each one of you, have donated some money to me. And if you'd like to help donate and keep this podcast going and to keep all the episodes available for other Mayberry fans to be able to listen to, please just drop by the mayberry.com/podcast website, and you'll see a donate button there. It's a PayPal donation, and you'll be able to donate just whatever you feel like you feel comfortable donating, and that money is going to go directly to paying for hosting for the audio part of the podcast, not the website itself. I'm taking care of, that's no problem. We can handle that at mayberry.com, but to actually get the audio, the files, the MP3 files off onto there, it would be so helpful to me, because I'm really worried, honestly, about this being the 50th anniversary year, and I'm hopeful that we'll have a whole lot more folks starting to drop by because of the curiosity of it being the 50th anniversary. That might happen, and it's concerning me a little bit because, wow, if everybody, let's say if I had 1,000 people all of a sudden decide to, hey, I'd like to listen to all these podcasts, and they start downloading them, I don't have enough bandwidth to handle that. So I'm really wanting to get that moved off in the next couple of weeks here. So if you'd like to donate, I'm begging again, I guess, but I want to thank those who have already donated, and I really appreciate it. Whether you've donated or not, I would love to hear from you. Please call me at 888-684-8415. Let me know if you think this was a neat idea, this Gunsmoke thing, because if it's not, you're going to be bored the next few weeks, because this is what I'm going to do for the next 3 weeks or so. But drop me a line at 888-684-8415, or you can email me at floyd@mayberry.com, or you can drop by the podcast website at mayberry.com/podcast and leave a message there. Or, hey, there's all other places too. Facebook, you can find me there. All that information is on the website, so I'm not going to give it to you here. But you can follow us on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter. And I'll let you know when I'm doing these live streams, so that if you want to watch me sit here and talk to the microphone, and I usually do a little bit extra sometimes with the folks that are on the video, and just show them pictures. Tonight we showed them some pictures, and we'll have pictures from Gunsmoke. I'll post those on the Facebook page so that you'll be able to see some of the images of Howard Mcnear and Parley Baer as their characters on Gunsmoke. So, all right, folks. Hey, I'm going to try to get this out of here under 16 minutes or so tonight, and boy, I'm not going to make it. But hey, thanks for joining me this week on Two Chairs No Waiting, and we'll see you next time. Bye. All right, video folks. Hey, I want to thank you guys for taking time to sit and stare at me as I talk, because that's really all you're getting is a talking head here. Now, and like last week, I showed some of the great items you could buy. They could be yours. Got those are available. You can go on the website and pick those out too. Don't worry about getting those. I'm not making anything off of those. I think $1 or something, and that's only because I just wanted to see if I sell any. But mainly I wanted them for myself. See, I got the mug. I've got, what else do I have? I'm wearing my Who's Messed Up the Bulletin Board t-shirt. I got coasters. And actually I got a pillow that's got this on it as well. And, I've got this thing. I didn't show this one before. These are neat. I don't know if you can see it. But it's a porcelain. It's pretty neat. It's a coffee mug. Coffee, whatever you call that. So, anyway, hey, folks. I want to thank all of you for being a part of the show, and I need to finish it up good for you guys, don't I? So let me grab my closing music so that you'll have a chance to hear the closing, because it's not the same if you don't close out the episode, is it? Or at least it's not to me. Got to get it all done and get everything so that it actually reminds you of the regular podcast that we do. And let me do it upright. So, folks, we'll see you next time here on the video podcast of Two Chairs No Waiting. We'll see you next week. Bye.